It's been 3 years since I became an atheist, and I like doing these yearly updates because I like going back and looking at how things have changed since I've left Christianity. Reader's Digest version, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I left Christianity in May of 2016. That's kind of like the anniversary date that I give myself. And I have been on a journey ever since. So I want to share a little bit about the past year and how things have been going without religion in my life, with different themes and things that have happened that religion probably would have played a large role into. This last year, my grandpa died. Last May. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary pretty soon, in a couple weeks. Losing my grandpa has been an interesting experience as an atheist who doesn't believe in an afterlife and who doesn't believe that we're gonna see our relatives again when we die. I mean, I'm fairly certain when you're dead, you're dead. That's it. And I know there's people out there that say, oh, well, how do you know? I just think of it as when you sleep or before you were born. You don't remember that. You just didn't exist. And then now you do. The body's weird. When I really sit here and think about it, it'll send me into an existential crisis. So I want to talk a little bit about how I've been processing my grandpa's death without religion attached. Because when religion is attached to death, it's very much this, you're gonna see that person again, they're in a better place, they're in heaven now looking at you, and they're gonna be your angel and they're gonna be there to guide you. And I just don't really believe that. I think what's given me the most comfort in the entire experience is knowing that my grandpa's not suffering on earth anymore, because the last year of his life was pretty hard, and the last, I would say, 4 to 6 months in particular were really hard. I wasn't even there to see the worst of it. My dad got the brunt of it. When we lost him and when he died, it was weird, because usually those comforts of, oh, we're gonna see him again and you're gonna meet him in heaven and we'll pray for you, you know, he's gonna be looking down on you, he's in a better place. All of those sentiments to me didn't mean anything. When people would say they were praying for me, it bothered me. And now I realize that a lot of people with death, it can be weird. They want to be supportive, but they don't know what else to say. So a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, my thoughts and prayers are going out to you, or you're in my thoughts, or you're in my prayers. Whether that's true or not, I don't really care. I think just the sentiment of someone sending their condolences in any way means the most. Even if it's not my favorite subject, which is religion. When people have religious context when it comes to death, when we talk about my grandpa and people say, oh, you know, he's smiling down on you from heaven and stuff like that, I just smile or say thanks, yeah, I'm sure he is. You know, I kind of just, I go with the motions, but this is kind of where I can be real. That kind of stuff really doesn't mean anything to me. I do believe that, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I have this weird set of beliefs, because people that aren't religious would probably look at what I'm about to say and say, oh, that's all bullshit. But I do believe that there are kind of like this almost essence of my grandpa around me. I have a mirror that I took out of the house that I had in my house for about 6 months, and that thing would move on its own a lot. And eventually it fell over because my cat knocked it over and broke it, but I saved a piece of it. And I always just kind of felt like my grandpa, not that he lived inside the mirror, like literally lived inside the mirror, but it's almost like his spirit was attached, because I do believe in the paranormal. And I know that's kind of weird as an atheist to still believe like in ghosts and the paranormal, but there's just been too many things that have happened to me that I can't explain, like the mirror moving on its own. And, you know, just my grandpa comes to me in my dreams a lot. I do believe that dreams can be a powerful thing. And I think that your loved ones can come to you in your dreams, because that's kind of the easiest way to see someone and talk to them. I don't know, it's weird, because I don't believe in God, I don't believe there's a God, I don't believe in angels or heaven or hell or what any of that shit. But I do believe in the paranormal. So I do believe that my grandpa is still with me in some ways, but not in the religious type of context that people would usually say. It was really hard. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever been through in my entire life. This is a hard year for me, not only because of the death, but because I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of introspection. And I've really taken a look at myself and have really gotten in touch with my emotions and my feelings more this year, because I don't really do that a lot. I'm not really an emotional person per se. And I think this year I've become more of an emotional person, and I'm sharing my feelings, and maybe things that I would have just ignored before I'm confronting. And maybe somebody has upset me in some way, instead of just brushing it off and not wasting my time with it, like what my normal response is, I've confronted the situation, or I've shared my feelings about a situation. My relationship with my boyfriend has changed a lot because I will open up more, become a little bit more vulnerable, and talk a little bit more about my real feelings about things instead of just bottling it up like I've done my entire life. I noticed that a lot of this real self-growth, this inner growth, has happened not being religious. I think the more I dive into my atheism, the more I realize that I'm stronger than the man in the sky, and that he's not real. I think that there's people out there that really do believe in something and they have their faith, and that's great. I've kind of taken a step back on being that person who talks shit to somebody for believing in what they believe in, because everybody needs something to get through the day. For me, I use kind of like a reward system with myself of, this is what I'm going to do if I reach this goal. That's what I use to get forward through my really dark times. And things that I'm really looking forward to doing is what I keep in the forefront of my mind. It's not a religious based system where I have to listen and I have to obey God or else this is going to happen. I just really feel like the more that I've learned about religion and the more that I've paid attention to religion over the last few years, especially in this political climate, I think a lot of adults or older people, when they turn to religion as an adult, I think it's because there's a source of trauma involved. And it doesn't necessarily have to be trauma in the sense of, oh, I watched someone die in front of me, or I got into a car accident and almost died. It could be as simple as a hardship or something you're dealing with in your life, like an addiction or falling out with family or whatever. I mean, there's a list of fucking things that can happen to you in your life. But I really truly feel like when you see a grown-ass adult turning to religion in a time of crisis, it's because the church is manipulative, and it's a place that seems safe, and maybe a church is a place that's done more for you than other programs have, or other people have, or other places or other things have. Maybe church is that respite for you, and it's been that one thing that's like gotten you on the straight and narrow. So now you have to devote your life to it, and you have to become this religious, I want to bring people to the Lord, I want them to have what I have, but like, it's all bullshit. And it's all it is. And if you're watching this and you have your beliefs, that's great. I'm glad it works for you. Doesn't work for me. This is just my opinion. The more that I've leaned into that and the more that I stay true to myself, the better I feel. This past year, I started dabbling with kind of like the occult, witchcraft, candle magic, crystals, witchiness, all of that. I mean, that's just hot right now, right? Way for me to be a basic bitch about it. But I really started to dive into that world because it fascinates me. It's not something I ever really fully believed, but it does fascinate me. And it's something that I just like hearing about. I think the astrological stuff like Virgos and Aries and Capricorns and whatever you are, I don't believe in that. I really don't. When people say, oh, you're such a Virgo, when they find out I'm a Virgo, I'm like, yeah, but if I would have said I was a a Taurus or something, you would have said, oh, you're such a Taurus. And like things from each sign can apply to everyone. And Harvey, please, Harvey. I think the reason why I got so into that kind of stuff is because I was miserable. This year was a hard year for me, and I was miserable with myself a lot of this year. My self-loathing, my self-doubt was high this year. Instead of turning back to religion, like a lot of people I know and people I've seen in the past and present, future, whatever, I started kind of looking into that because it wasn't a religious-based type thing. But then the more that I got into it, I realized this is just like a religion. You're just replacing A with B or C with D. And that just didn't sit right with me. And eventually I realized, you know, I got really into candle magic for a while because I love the action of like having a physical thing that you can do that isn't just I'm gonna say a spell and hope it works, because that isn't real. I liked the aspect of candle magic, and this is kind of how I interpret it now. Say you want to make more money at your job, or you want to get a new job, or I want to, like for me, I want my Etsy shop to flourish. So the act of lighting a candle, speaking your intentions into that candle, and then when the candle is finished, the act will happen, or it's complete, or whatever the fuck. I like just the speaking life to something aspect of that. And I think that's what I've ultimately taken away, is I really like to make candles because I have a bunch of extra wax and wicks, and I just love the creative crafting aspect of it. I've been crafting like a motherfucker this year. It's been great. It's great for my mental health. I like the tangible, I can just light a candle, I can speak my intentions into the whatever this is, the ethos, the cosmic universe. I don't know what the fuck we live in, but just speaking my intentions and saying, this is really what I want. It's kind of like what I do in therapy. I talk about what I want to accomplish, what I want to work towards. So it's almost like I'm going to speak life into this, and hopefully it happens. And if it doesn't, we're going to roll with the punches. There is no God, and goodbye. Like, that'd be great if I just ended the video right here, but no. I guess I just wanted to get this out because I know that watching this back years from now, I'm going to be looking at it and being like, oh wow, that's really where my headspace was at in 2018/2019. And I like doing these updates. And if not for anyone else, it's just for me to kind of process this and have something to go back and watch later. I've watched my other like leaving Christianity videos. This one is a little bit out there, you know. I still get comments on the other videos from people like hoping I'll come back to God. And like I've said in past videos, it's not gonna happen. I'm not coming back. We'll never believe in God again. We'll never believe in religion again. The further I've gone with this and the more I've learned about this, the more positive I feel that I'm going on the right path. If you have any questions, sound off in the comments, because Lord knows y'all don't have any shame. It's trying to convert me back. So if you have questions, hit me up. I always reply if it's something I feel like replying to. But if it's just someone trying to preach to me, I've literally been you and been there, done that, and don't want to hear it. If those of you watching, maybe you've prayed for me or have encouraged me in any sort of a religious aspect, just know that I do appreciate that. And it just means that for me that I'm being thought of and that I'm cared about. And that's what I take from it. I try not to be so salty about it. Thanks for watching. This is long. I'm out of here. I've got some juicy stuff coming though, so wait for it.